Good day, YouTube. It is the 20th of August, 2023, and we are just outside the town of Hugo, Oregon, in what is called Potsville. We've been here before, but I'm going to video this a little bit and give you an idea what's in Potsville. So here we are at the entrance gate. I'll run this up here so you can read that. Pause. All right, one car has pulled in since we got here just seconds ago, and we're gonna do a little walking tour. I always thought next time I come back to Pottsville that we'd do a little walk around video and post something for you folks that could never get here. But for those of you that can, come experience this. I know they do have a few events and stuff during the year. It's obviously not one of those days, but so big stationary engine, 1927 Sullivan air compressor. Guess it's not an engine, it's a compressor. Pause. I guess these are drag saws. So engine powered saw or something close to that, because there's a saw blade central. Oh yeah. So I'm kind of a fan of Ford tractors, so here is a 9N or 2N Ford. I could tell you the history of the Ford tractors. The 9N came out in 1939. They made them until 1942, where Ford wished to increase the price in 1942, but the government didn't allow price increases for the same machines due to the war, and to eliminate price gouging and so forth. So Ford made 3 changes to the 9N and called it a 2N, which came out in 42. It ran until 48. So basically the 9N, 2N were unchanged from 39 to 48. 48 debuted the 8N tractor. You could tell easily by the smaller hub bolt patterns on both the front and rear wheels. This is a 3-speed, the 8N is a 4-speed. There are other differences, but that's in a nutshell. Look at that big old engine. There's a tag here. Climax Engineering. Pause. There you go. Potsville Lumber Company. It's a Ford truck. I'll call it a 48. I don't really know the grills that well. It's actually earlier. That hood release. This is an early 40s. Gosh. It might even be like a 42, because I know the 41s have the same latch. Maybe it is a 41. Yeah, it is early though. It's not a 48 like I thought. I have a 36, so the doors look very similar. Alright, we got some crawler tractors. 1914 Holt Midget Caterpillar. Alright, pause. They got some way better signage this trip, than they had. Oh, here's an 8N. I was just telling you about the smaller hub sizes. It's getting a little dark over here, but there's the smaller hub. Again, these come out in 48. Difficult to get back in there, but there's another Caterpillar crawler. Alice Chalmers, John Deere's, a co-op back there. Look at that. Yeah, some sort of a mill device, grain handling or something. Yeah, it really has evolved. I'm really glad we stopped. It's just different than it was some years ago. It's probably been 6 or 8 years ago that we stopped here. Mural. Items on the wall. There's a big old, like a hay bale Holt handler or something. Does it say 49? Case row crop tractor. Oh yeah. There's a case. So Eugene Potts was a collector of a lot of things mechanical. There was just a lot of stuff here. He was kind of a Ford guy too, as am I. So last time we were here, we super lucked out, and the daughter or granddaughter or something was actually working on one of these cabins out here with her friend or husband, and gave us a tour of his little museum, which wasn't actually that small. And it's in one of those big buildings, which I can't remember which one. His personal cars were in there, every kind of different car. He worked in Salem. He was a legislator of some sort, and this is like a Marquette golf cart, or early Cushman, or yeah, it's got Cushman bolt pattern on the rear wheels. I'm gonna call that a Cushman then. What do we got? Yep, Cushman. Here we go. Oh, look at this mini bike turn lawnmower. I've seen pictures. I thought they were something people had put together, but this maybe is a rare deal. It's got a caster wheel on the back. Something powers this thing going forward. Little Briggs engine on it. Look at that. So anyway, he traveled to Salem to work. So that's a pretty good drive. One of his newer cars in there was like a Lincoln Mark 8. Last time I was here, that's my Chrysler right there. Last time we were here, I had a Lincoln LS, and I was wearing my Lincoln shirt. I remember that. Anyway, another big engine. Got a tag on it. Make sure you can read it. Dedicated to Potsville by Lumber Company. A big old radiator. Pause. That's for you guys, by the way. Alright, engines, such. Some of this stuff runs, and some of it is not necessarily run, or could run with a little work kind of deal. This one here looks like it runs, or could run. Probably use it around here. It's just got a little two banger in it. That's pretty cool. It's got spark plugs, so it's a gas engine. Got a big old road grader. Looks like she's listing a little like she's got a flat tire. I know that Eugene Potts left some money and some instructions on how to care for this facility, so it's funded, if you will. I'm sure they'll take donations and so forth. The gentleman that is here asked me if there's a place he could, drop some money, and I said, man, when they're not manned and stuff, I don't think that there is. Look at this old International. She's original. Floors are decent. See a little piece of daylight in the roof, but it's in good shape. Or something sitting. Tires have seen better days. Big old differential, single speed. Get these old graders. Look at the self-cambering wheels. Got like a rack and pinion to lean the wheels over, so you can grade crooked roads that would drain water off. All this stuff's mechanical. All this stuff's mechanical. Drive shafts and universal joints and Zerk fittings. Wonder what it would take to get this thing all freed up and stuff, get the gearboxes all working and rings and pinions all working again. Be a labor of love, wouldn't it? Here's the sign on this. Boy, none of these signs were here last time we were here. Okay, pause. Another grader. Making roads. Gravel roads. Fixing roads. Keeping them passable after rough winters. Solid rubber tires on steel wheels. Adams. Wheel grader number 8. Where was this made? Indianapolis, Indiana, USA. Leaning wheel. Pause. Some sort of a spreader. Manure spreader or something. It's probably all rusted out in the bottom. Yes, it is. Yep, they weren't gonna last. Another one. So is this driven off the wheels or driven off the tractor with a PTO? This is a PTO. Another grader. We got lots of graders around here. Oh, look at that. That's got a Detroit engine in it. That's a, is this 6? I think it's a 671. Let's look on the other side. No, I think it's a 4-cylinder. It's probably a 471. Got a blower on it. It's a Detroit. Alright. Pretty good sized ring gear. It always fascinates me, you know, back when this thing was built, that we could build stuff like that before we had computers and computer controlled lathes and mills and CNC machines and all that. There's a frame to a wood wheeled wagon. There's no differential in it. It was a towed wagon. Somebody towed it. Look at the wheels on this thing. What is it? I don't know. Belt driven. Oh, it's a baler. Sure. Somewhere you threw a bunch of, there was a bird. Probably threw a bunch of hay in this thing. Oh, right up here. And then it shoved it down in there and out the back. There we go. There's a little plow and a rake. And what is this? What is this? Very interesting. Somebody's taking the tours. Belt driven. It's got belts and pulleys. It comes up to here. There's gearboxes up here and a chain on the other side. And a rack out the bottom. Gearbox on the bottom. It's a, I don't know. I don't know what this is. Somebody ought to tell me. Lots of pulleys. Lots and lots of pulleys. Got me. Not been a farmer. There's an old Alice Chalmers again. Looks like a pretty complete old tractor. And we got a crane. Old cable crane. Looks like it's had a boom repair. Watch some old videos of some of these things sitting out in the woods. People go out and get them running again. I don't think we got an engine anymore. We got no engine. All the clutches and brakes and stuff that makes something like this run. Doesn't look like it's been sitting here forever. Alright, let's go over here. Some sort of a hay wagon. And it does drive off the wheels as it's being pulled, so it must pull in this direction and pick hay off the ground and throw it into the hay trailer. and you'd wander it over to your baler, which was stationary somewhere, probably being driven with a belt off of a tractor, and bale it up as it's stationary. So you brought the hay to the baler. So here's a Monarch engine under a roof, and it's hooked to a saw. Hand cranker. Boy, that's a big old engine to be hand cranking. It's got 2 plug wires on each spark plug, 6-cylinder. Why has it got 2 plug wires, and why do they go over to the other side? I have to know. Because there's spark plugs on the other side. So they fed spark to one spark plug and then paralleled the second spark plug. Look at that. Monarch Beaver, it says. So this is a runner. We got a tack on it. Volvo Penta. That's out of a boat. That's cool. Repurposed. Got fuel in it. Fuelable. So we got a belt pulley on this with a clutch on it. So they drive something off of this besides the saw. Oh no. The saw's just sitting there. They move it over and drive the saw with a belt. Cool. This thing probably goes back and forth. So you throw your log up here and you shove this forward right through the blade. Don't get your finger in that, it wouldn't know the difference. Thought about getting me a saw like this when I had my old N series Ford tractors, just to give something for the belt pulley to drive. So this is some sort of a horizontal saw, and it's in use. That's some pretty fresh little sawdust happening there. So what does this do? There's something there. This must draw through. This might slab up the wood, or maybe for shingles or something. I'll bet this moves that way. It's not moving by hand, but you can see the slides. Things are happening here. We got a belt over here. So how do they drive it? I always got to figure that out. So they got a short belt there. They got like an idler pulley here. They've got a 90-degree gearbox here. Very interesting. They got a big belt sitting here. Oh, there's something down there. A big pulley there. And a big belt here. And it does line up with that pulley on that motor right there. So they're taking it through the wall right here. Oh, there we go. They're making cedar shakes. Fantastic. Smells good too. Yep, there we go. Alright, we figured it out. They got some cedar stacked up out here for making shakes. That's awesome. This is the money shot here though. This one I would probably drive down just to hear it fire up. There is videos on YouTube. Ooh, got some deer poop. There's some videos on YouTube of this engine running, but you gotta be here. You can't just listen to it on the video. Fairbanks Morse, 4-cylinder. Let's see what size this thing is. I'll bet it's no more than 150 horsepower. That's gonna be my guess. So air tank, so they're using compressed air to start this engine. There's got to be a sign on it. This is a major deal. Needs a bath. Those 4 exhaust pipes are awesome. No sign? Come on. Okay. That's a big old flywheel. That thing weighs a pound or two. Alright, no sign. have to look it up. So a well driver machine. That thing's up there 50 feet. There's still wood on this machine. That's pretty cool. There's a sign on that. Early day well driller. Holt engine. Let's see if there's anything more to see on that. Holt radiator, still original. That's amazing. Hard rubber tires on wooden wheels that are kind of coming apart. Got the magneto out there still. Here's how you engage the power right there. Look at all the welding repair on that arm right there. That's cool. But look at the teeth. This thing's been working. That's cool. Something this old and still run. It still operates. That's what gets me. That's what's fascinating about this stuff. But I appreciate the folks that keep these things going and that they still run. This thing is 100+ years old and it still works. Crazy. Anything you buy today is still gonna work in 100 years? Doubt it. So this is some sort of boiler. Yeah. Fitzgibbons Boiler, New York. It's a long ways from home. Boilers. It's pretty tough to keep boilers going for 100 years. They're like bombs. They're like bombs. This one's got a new flue on it. Listen, they might put a little heat on this one. I suppose if you keep the pressure way down, it's not so bad. But these things can kill people. All right, what's next? The windmill. It's probably one of the few you'll ever see actually operating. Now the pump handle is not engaged, but it's going up and down. I guess it's not a pump handle, it is engaged somehow. What's it? Oh, no, I think they hook it up here and turns that. Yeah, ooh, picked it up some speed now. Interesting. That does look like it's the pump of the seals and everything should be on that straight in line. This was maybe is a valve. Don't know. And it's just shut off. Or maybe it's what's hooked up to those sprinklers right now. I didn't see any pipes leaving. But maybe there is. Maybe it's running those sprinklers that are running out there. It's well lubricated. That is a cap on the well. Who knows? I think we walked right past this guy. Atlas Engine Works. Alright. This doesn't look like a runner. Let's see if the engine's seized. Yeah. It's either locked up or the brakes are on. It doesn't show signs that it's been operated. Alright. Well guys, this video is going to get really long, so I think what I'll do is call it, this is one side of the museum that we've covered. I think I'll stop this one here and restart on the other side. So come back for part 2. So for part 1, appreciate you guys watching. Thumbs up on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you on the next video. Hopefully we'll see you in part 2.